In an open field, Michael keeps staring at beautiful colors in the sky. Suddenly a shot and the scream of the woman only results in Michael waking up. In the night that day, Michael goes to his casino where he has been working for 3 months. By then he knows it all inside and out and memorized every angle and camera. He has befriended all the employees by getting to know them and their habits. He is also very friendly with the frequent clients. Since he is an excellent employee, he can service the VIPs too. Sometimes he gets confidential information. At the end of his shift, Michael removes all the prosthetics that are attached to his face to mask his identity. He turns out to be a co-man who has been operating in the casino in order to gather inside information. He has also been mounting little engages in different machines and tables. After 3 months of arduous practice, he's finally ready to make money with a different disguise. He enters the casino, then inputs his phone with a gadget that makes cards fly from a shuffling machine. Then he goes to a table where he uses his own magnetic dice to win, since earlier he installed the button that let him change the result. Next he enters the room of a VIP client, who is sleeping because Michael put the sedative in his drink during his shift. After the mess he created with the cards, the VIP players will be moved to the private room, so Michael steals this man's gold pass and his fancy clothes. Now Michael rushes to the service elevator and puts a chip of his own in the control panel. Michael acts lost, claiming to be a VIP with the intention of trying to lodge a complaint so the employee taking the new cards can take him to the appropriate floor in the service elevator. Once again Michael uses his phone to get the elevator to stop and cut off its lights. While the employee is trying to get help, Michael changes the box of new cards to his own box, which he had previously hidden there. Eventually Michael activates everything again and finally enters the VIP room where he sits at the main table with Alex. Moreover, Michael puts on special sunglasses that let him see the numbers on the modified cards he sneaked in. When the game begins, he makes sure not to win every round to avoid suspicion and make the other players bet more. Suddenly Michael's cards change without him noticing and he bets all the money he won so far. The other players do the same and Michael feels smug. However, he's shocked to see his hand actually losing because they aren't the same numbers. The third player wins all the money and quits the game to keep it. Getting suspicious, Michael follows him down the corridor and takes the suitcase with the money from him, only to find random papers in it. Suddenly the lights flicker and the guy's face changes, revealing he isn't the player and Michael followed the wrong guy. At this time the guards arrive and apprehend Michael while he witnesses Alex escape undetected. Michael is then bound to a chair in a storage room and a guard punches him when the casino owner Victor asks for the money. When Michael tries to play the role of a VIP client, he is punched again, so he tries to explain that a different con man took the money. Victor does not believe him and gives him 1 week to bring the money back, or there will be terrible consequences. Afterward Michael travels to a plain casino in the middle of nowhere, where the guards keep him at gunpoint. However, they step back when their boss Leon welcomes Michael as an old friend. While they share some drinks, Michael notices a necklace with the symbol that matches Alex's tattoo. He asks for its meaning, but Leon first makes him share what happened. Then Leon explains that there are people like psychics and witches who are born with the ability to dive into their consciousness, which is like a special room where they're allowed to pull off a supernatural activity. In Alex's case, it seems he has the power to change things that other people see. Using a book with drawings representing the legend, Leon proceeds to explain the point that everyone in this world is bound in some sort of collective unconsciousness. All legends derive from here. People blessed with a unique power can climb out of it and enter it. It resembles some other sort of universe with endless possibilities coupled with all collective knowledge of all human beings across history. Normal people can also enter this place, but they can't get out without a special amulet that works as a compass. Michael laughs because he doesn't believe any of this and Leon gets angry, so he gives Michael the book containing the list of people with powers and tells him to find Alex alone. The next day Alex meets with Gordon and gives him the money. Then Gordon reveals he has a compass and asks Alex to teach him how to use the magic door. However, Alex refuses, explaining he likes working with Gordon and wouldn't want to lose him there. Gordon will need a partner he trusts to help him navigate. Back to Michael. He asks Leon about the people on the list and Leon swears they're real because he saw their powers himself. This gives him an idea. He could get the money by hiring people with powers to beat the casino. First there's Eric, a rich kid with telekinesis who doesn't want to work. Then there's Tony, a taxi driver who can control electronic devices. Usually he only messes with small stuff, like making the meter run faster, changing the traffic lights, or activating the police car sirens. Michael visits them both and persuades them easily to join a special team to get tons of money. Then comes Kevin, a hypnotist whose parents sent to mental institution. Doctors earn lots of money from him because he programs people to cure their depression. Michael visited him at the mental institution and convinced him to escape with him. When a nurse sees them and tries to chase them, Eric comes up with an idea to distract the nurses by having other patients create a rope asking for better living conditions. While the patients hold the nurses behind, Tony uses his might to steal an ambulance and open the crossing gate, freeing the group for an escape. The next day, they train on how to use their powers to cheat at the casino and what gestures to use to communicate silently. Eric will use his telekinesis to move the dice, and in his subconscious space he appears moving the dice manually. Kevin will hypnotize other players or the employees, and his subconscious space shows him manipulating an ice statue. Last, Tony is going to be dealing with cameras. The camera captures when Tony uses his power. That subconscious space he created appears as a storm and there are the chips floating in every direction around him. They play a few games with Leon's people. Initially it's pretty good but eventually it's quite chaotic. Whilst Kevin accidentally makes one of Leon's employees go blind, one of Leon's clients freaks out when he's losing, so he whips out his gun. Tony gets scared and shorts out the camera. Michael runs over to tackle the angry client, calming him down before deciding they'll need a better way of communicating. The next day Michael attends at a funeral where a bunch of sad women are harassing Veronica, begging for her help. Suddenly a car parks nearby and some men in black come out. A scared Veronica runs away and drops her headphones in the process, so Michael grabs them. When a second car with mysterious men shows up, Veronica hides inside an abandoned building and waits for the men to leave. Then Michael gives her back the headphones, saying he isn't one of those men. Veronica tries to leave without a word, so Michael follows her to ask some questions. However, Veronica can read minds and says she isn't interested in his plan. At that moment one of the men finds them and Michael holds him back while Veronica runs. The rest of the men corner her in an alley. However, Michael appears on the roof and helps her escape. The next day Gordon follows Alex's instructions to get started on his training. A hypnotist finds him and quickly sends him to the world of the subconscious, where now Gordon has the power to control any person he wants. While Gordon is unconscious on the ground, he forces a street painter to make a copy of a famous painting. Then Gordon takes control of a museum employee and makes him swap the fake painting for the real one, which was going to be moved to another museum. While the fake painting is taken away in a van, Gordon wakes up and buys the real famous art from the confused painter for just a few bucks. None of the people he controlled remember what happened. Back to Michael. He introduces Veronica to the rest of the group, explaining she can read and transmit thoughts. She'll be passing Michael's instructions to the others while they play. To practice, Michael tells her to enter her subconscious space, which looks like a very peculiar forest. Then he thinks about Eric moving the city's big bell, so Veronica passes the message to Eric's mind. After Eric does so, Michael wants two people to run while screaming for help, so Veronica passes that message to Kevin, who quickly pulls it off. Tony is told to make most of the lights in the area to short circuit, causing more people to get scared and all the birds to fly away. Lastly, Michael asks Veronica to tell the people in the street that there's an earthquake coming. As Veronica passes around the suggestion, with her words combined with all the weird stuff the others make happen, the people start to believe that it's actually true, an earthquake. Everybody runs until only Michael's team is left behind. Later, Michael steals drinks from a restaurant. As he elaborates on his plan, they will go to the casino with assumed identities, and each of them will come at different times except for Veronica, who will be Michael's fiancée told to copyright. That means they need to go shopping for fancy clothes and see a stylist to get a makeover. The team finally goes to the casino after 2 days left. Michael plays while Veronica is the trophy wife, so that she can focus on passing these messages round. Tony takes care of the cameras while playing the slots, which he is also manipulating at this time. Eric is among Michael's opponents, making all to lose just like everyone, so Michael wins. That after attaining sufficient wins on this table, he and Veronica shifts to another table where Kevin is controlling the employee. Initially, the scheme goes according to plan, but Eric is drinking too much and gets tired of losing, so he starts to manipulate the roulette to win some money too. He also begins talking to Michael aloud instead of sending his thoughts. At the slots, Tony gets too enthusiastic and tries to control too many machines at the same time. The guards get suspicious, so they drag Eric and Tony away, but when they are about to get in the elevator, the rest of the team is there. Kevin hypnotizes the guards to make them leave, and the team hides inside the elevator for a talk. Michael scolds them for what they did and explains they could get killed for cheating. After this, the group decides to do whatever Michael tells them and moves to the final table. Michael all in bets while Tony is controlling the camera. Kevin takes care of the employee, and Eric rolls the dice. The plan works well, and Michael wins $10 million. After this, the group moves to the beach to celebrate with drinks and a bonfire, but Veronica sits away from them. Michael asks her if everything is alright and says that they could spend a few more sessions together for more money, but Veronica has no interest in that. A fight erupts and they start insulting each other. Meanwhile, Alex dines with Gordon and tells him that they will have to call off their classes. Alex refuses to teach him anymore until Gordon finds a partner. Then Gordon asks about Michael and Alex tells him about the new team. Gordon isn't happy to hear this and announces they'll have to intervene. The next morning the team is on the road where they're suddenly chased by an SUV. When the mysterious car gets ahead of them, Tony drives around it and tries to lose it, only for a second SUV to join the chase. In a minute, the SUVs surround the car and push Tony to make him stop at the middle of the road. Victor comes out with his men, who tie up the team's wrists. They capture the entire team. He explains that they have the money, but Victor becomes more interested in their powers. Since Michael lacks all abilities, he is brought to the side of a cliff and shot in, so that his body falls rolling into the woods. A grieving group hid inside their subconscious spaces to view all this while completely unaware of it being tricked. Michael walks just fine and turns to see an aged man who seems like his father in front of Gordon. Gordon cuts the ropes from his son's wrists and Michael freaks as he realizes his dad has been behind this all along. The guards hold him back while Gordon points out that Michael has ignored him for 10 years and this was the only way to get his attention. Gordon also reminds him that when Michael was a child they would dream about finding the special door, and now he knows where it is. Sometime later at Victor's casino, Tony, Kevin, and Eric are being forced to work as employees to make the clients lose. One afternoon when they return to their rooms, they find a plumber working in their bathroom. It turns out to be Michael in disguise, who notices Veronica is missing. The others explain she refused to work for Victor and she's been in a coma all this time because she hasn't left her subconscious space since she saw Michael supposedly die. That night, the lights flicker above the game tables while the guys surround Victor to announce they're quitting. The guards take them straight to a storeroom and leave a newbie watching the door without noticing that it is Michael. He frees his friends and then explains his knowledge of the casino in order to come up with a plan. Kevin forces a guard to use his keycard on the electronic lock while Michael uses a stolen key to leave the elevators stuck in the basement. Lasers block the following corridor, and Michael leaves it to the boys who have to fight with it to find Veronica while he goes exploring. He finds a mask in the room he had forgotten he left them there and chucks a gas bomb to render the guard out while rescuing a sleeping Veronica from her room. In the following corridor, Tony turns off dozens of lasers. However, not all of the lasers can be turned off that way. At least now there's enough room for Eric to carefully move among them without touching them. He makes it to the other side and finds the safe belonging to the casino. so he starts using his powers to force it open. The lasers go down, but they also activate an alarm. While Michael reunites with the team, the guards try to reach the corridor, only to find the elevators not working and a hypnotized employee shooting at them. The man is brought down very quickly and the guards enter the corridor at the same time. Eric finally opens the safe, so the team rushes inside and locks the door before the guards' shots can reach them. He orders his men to kill them right when they come out. Later, Michael declares that their plan is over unless they wake up Veronica. The others try to advise him that he may die if he steps out to the subconscious space because he does not have any powers, but Michael wants to do it anyway. Kevin hypnotizes Michael, and he finds himself floating in a white space. Important objects from his life float around him and he hears conversations from the past, reminding him of his mother's death and all the illegal jobs he did through the years, including the time he spent in gaol. Veronica's voice is heard as well, calling him selfish. A door appears and Michael crosses it, falling into a big field with multiple doors and beautiful colors in the sky. There's a storm coming, so he runs to find cover behind the door. The storm quickly catches up to him and almost hits him, but he raises a hand and the storm freezes. With just a gesture, he lets it fall on the ground and cleans the field. Next, Michael sits on the ground and concentrates on his memories of Veronica. Sudden ground eruptions and transformation into changing the field into a city. Michael took the stairs to find Veronica staring at colors in the sky. When he tries to get closer, he finds a force field surrounding her. He pounded on it a few times while yelling, but Veronica never reacted. Michael then tries sending out his thoughts. This makes the buildings fall and he ends up in barren land under the rain. The force field is still protecting Victoria, but now she can hear him. She says she doesn't want to go back to the real world because there's nobody waiting for her. Michael attempts to explain he's actually alive, but she does not believe him, and therefore he releases the memory of the day they met. Again, the chase is repeated. However, as soon as Michael comes onto the roof, he tells her that he has only her. The couple is sucked to the field along with the various doors in her hand and the hand Veronica holds. They share a kiss before Veronica leaves through one of the doors, causing her to wake up in real life. However, since it's Michael's first time, he must find his own way out. A flashback reveals Gordon taught Michael everything about the subconscious space and that he wanted his son to be his partner, that way they could start a business together using the doors. He also gave him the compass and promised to send help. In the present, Michael sees Alex coming out of a door and starts following him as the area transforms into the casino. Michael follows Alex out and together they watch the scene of his presumed death. Alex puts himself and Michael into memory while explaining how to access a person's mind. At that moment, Michael wakes up in the safe and announces they're leaving with the money. Tony deactivates the lock and the door opens, but the corridor is empty. It turns out that while he was still in the subconscious space, Michael entered Victor's mind and made him believe the team had already escaped with the money. Victor told his guards to go after them, explaining the empty corridors. The team easily flees with the money and meets Alex on the beach. He says he has a proposition for them while a man nearby makes fire appear on his hand. 3 months later, Michael agrees to do one job with Gordon before two hypnotists send him to the subconscious space.